Samsung has officially kicked off the software development for its next fan edition smartphone, the Galaxy S25 FE. According to a new report, firmware development has now begun for the US unlocked version of the device, carrying the model number SMA731U. The initial firmware build is listed as S731 USQU0AE8. This early stage development is a strong sign that Samsung is moving forward with the S25 FE, and we might see it launch either later this year or in early 2026. Now, when Samsung starts working on firmware this early, it means the foundation of the phone's software, the operating system, user interface, and essential system apps, is being actively built and tested. As expected, the Galaxy S25 FE is likely to run Android 16 right out of the box, combined with Samsung's One UI 8.0 interface. With Samsung's current promise of extended software support, this phone could receive up to 7 years of Android OS updates, making it a solid long-term investment in terms of software. For those unfamiliar with the Fan Edition series, here's a quick refresher. Samsung launched the FE lineup with the Galaxy S20 FE, a phone that struck a great balance between flagship features and a more budget-friendly price. It quickly became popular and was followed by the S21 FE, S23 FE, and the most recent S24 FE. Notably, Samsung skipped a Fan Edition for the S22 series in 2022, but the line seems to be back on track now. These FE phones have always targeted users who want a near-flagship experience without paying flagship prices, a strategy that positions them against strong competitors like Google's Pixel A series and other mid-range phones offering premium features. As for the Galaxy S25 FE specs, while nothing is officially confirmed, rumors are beginning to paint a picture. The most discussed aspect so far is the processor. Earlier leaks hinted that Samsung might use a MediaTek chip in this model, which raised some eyebrows. However, newer reports indicate Samsung is sticking with the Exynos 2400E, the same chip used in the Galaxy S24 FE. For many, this could be a disappointment, especially in markets like the US where Qualcomm Snapdragon chips are usually preferred for their stronger performance and better efficiency. That said, sticking with the Exynos 2400E is in line with Samsung's Fan Edition strategy, using components that are slightly older or more cost-efficient than the latest flagship hardware. This approach helps keep the phone's price competitive while still delivering a decent user experience. In terms of memory and storage, leaks suggest the Galaxy S25 FE might come in two RAM variants, 8GB and 12GB. Storage is expected to start at 256GB, which would be a nice upgrade compared to the 128GB base model in many mid-range phones. As for the cameras, Samsung may upgrade the front-facing selfie camera to a 12-megapixel sensor. On the back, it's likely to maintain the triple-lens setup seen in the S24 FE. That's a 50-megapixel main camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and an 8-megapixel telephoto lens. Battery-wise, there are rumors that the phone might feature a slimmer and wider battery, possibly to accommodate a thinner design. While capacity might remain similar to the previous model, the new form factor could help improve heat management and possibly battery life. Fast charging is expected to stay at 25 watt or potentially go up to 45 watt for wired charging, along with support for 15 watt wireless charging. Other hardware features that are likely to carry over include stereo speakers, an under-display fingerprint sensor, and an IP67 rating, offering dust and water resistance. All in all, this suggests Samsung wants to stick with a tried and tested formula, refining the experience rather than reinventing it. So what does this all mean for consumers? If the Exynos 2400E is indeed confirmed, it may not thrill those who were hoping for a Snapdragon-powered variant. However, the S25 FE could still be an excellent value offering, especially with a focus on long-term software updates, reliable cameras, and a solid display. The Fan Edition phones have always aimed to give users the core experience of a flagship Galaxy S series phone without the premium price tag. And based on the information we have so far, the Galaxy S25 FE seems to be heading in that same direction. As firmware development continues and more details start to leak, we'll get a better idea of where the Galaxy S25 FE stands in Samsung's broader smartphone strategy. Will it be enough to stand out in the crowded mid-range market? That remains to be seen, but the early signs suggest Samsung is gearing up to deliver another solid contender. Stay tuned.